Hi there, I'm Becky Lodge. I'm the founder of Startup Disruptors, an entrepreneurial UK startup business community based online on social media and coming to a city near you. If we're not there already, then we probably will be very, very soon. Today, we're talking to the fabulous Sam Acton, who's just here, hopefully on the screen if you can see her. And she is an all-round superwoman in business in Dorset, and we just wanted to invite her to come and talk a little bit about her business today, because she's vastly experienced in business and also in franchising. So we just wanted to bring a little bit of colour to your world today, hopefully, in talking to Sam. So Sam, in terms of saying hi to the viewers, first of all, hello everybody. Can you just fill in the gaps a little bit for me and tell me a little bit about your background and what you do, first of all?
Okay, so many moons ago, I was in the financial services industry, was made redundant twice, and the second time I took the hint and started my own business, which is Domestic Angels. 18 years later, I'm sat here talking to you, Becky. Thank you for having me today.
No, you're more than welcome. It's great to see you.
So yes, I started up the business, and as so many people know, everyone thinks they can start a cleaning business, but hey, why aren't they here today, 18 years later? That's because it isn't always that straightforward. Anyway, I was able to take my time and learn about running a business, about me in a business, about employing people, about legal side of things, about the finance side of things. And I really did indulge myself, Becky. I really did take my time and build it slowly, which is fine. You don't have to be in a hurry with everything. It's okay. And then in 2013, we were made the National Home-Based Business of the Year. We are proud still to be a home-based business today, and we're even prouder that so many businesses have joined us to be home-based this year, because it is the way forward. Since then, we've won Innovator of the Year through the Successful Women in Business Network, and recently we've become European Franchise of the Year. So, you know, it's all evolved. So that's the background. I am mum to Jack and wife to my husband Phil, and I have loads of family close around by me. I love sailing, and I think like so many people coming out of lockdown, if there's something I can do that I've never done before, I'm going to do it, just in case I never get the chance again.
Yeah, I agree. I think that leads us nicely onto our question, which is next, which is, what are your top tips for people, obviously with the vast experience that you've got over nearly 2 decades? What are your top tips? I know, so I know the feeling, my darling. I know the feeling. What are your top tips for people wanting to start a business now? Because obviously we're in quite unusual times, and this obviously is being filmed during the COVID-19 pandemic and during the second lockdown in England, and obviously across Wales as well. So what would your tips be for people looking to start now in terms of opportunities to look out for, what they should be doing?
The best businesses come out of recessions, out of crisis. So if you've got an idea that you feel is a good one, go for it. Start investigating, start moving it forward, because you're probably right. It's that whole thing. Best things come out of compromise. Certainly the way that we evolve the business, it looks like we're doing something new when we come out of these situations, and we have been through a couple of recessions. So it's about evolving, it's about being agile. That would be my second recommendation, is always make yourself agile. Be prepared to move and change whenever the economy requires or gives you the opportunity. So rather than you thinking that the economy is in control, you're in control. You see the economy change, take the opportunity, you're in control of the opportunity. So that would be my second tip. The third one, make sure you know your tribe, because your tribe will be your best supporters. Now, your tribe will evolve over the years, because some people you will leave behind, literally, and then other people will become jealous of you and say the wrong things, perhaps. So you don't need them in your life. So don't hesitate to evolve a tribe. You don't have to be rude to them. It's good to have contacts and friends in your network, but make sure that your tribe that are close by are, you know, the right people.
Yeah, I think this is what was really super important in Startup Disruptors, was the fact that we actually wanted to make sure that people were getting surrounded by the right people and the right mindset. And I think, and you had a spell in corporate. I think I had a spell in corporate for, well, nearly 3 decades. Talking about feeling old. Yeah, I know. We don't look old. We don't look old enough. We don't. It's all the great lighting that we have now with technology. But I think you're right. I think it's that the key for me always was mindset for everybody. And I think what happens is people have a really great idea, but they come and they've just maybe not got quite the right mindset to actually say this is a business. It's not a bit of fun, or it used to be a bit of fun because sometimes it's a hobby when people first start. But it's switching that mindset over, isn't it?
I would actually highly recommend it stayed that way, because do you know what? I really enjoy doing business. I do it. I've stayed in it this long because actually it's fascinating and it's bloody good fun. And yes, you have your up days and you have your down days, and some of the down days can be really, really grueling, but don't let them stop you.
Yeah.
That's what happens in life. It is life. You just happen to live in your business. When you create a business, it's an extension of your personality, and you are human. So yes, please do have your up days, do have your down days. It's okay. Carry on regardless.
So that leads us nicely on to our next question, which is what are your top tips specifically for mindset during troubled times? Because obviously yes, we're quite positive and upbeat people, but I think there's a lot of people out there feeling, you know, a little bit demotivated or totally demotivated. And what I try to explain to people is this is actually quite natural. It's part of the human condition. Uncertainty breeds scarcity mindset, which sometimes isn't healthy, but we are human, and our old systems in our brain patterns are still looking for threat. So what are your tips for mindset and actually looking after yourself and your mindset during this sort of pandemic?
Yeah, and I love that phrase, the human condition. It's not used or investigated enough at all. You know, the pandemic and the lockdowns impact business repeatedly, but apart from that, it's impacting all of us. Just this weekend, I went out for an hour's fresh air just to clear my mind as a result of news from the government. I thought, oh, okay, I've got to get my head together. And, you know, on that piece of exercise, it's a route I take 3 or 4 times a week. But this weekend, everybody had their heads down and was feeling glum. Whereas usually I get a good morning, and it just makes you feel good regardless. And it's recognizing when these things come out, it's not just you that's impacted. You might feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulder. And on this occasion, I think we just all feel battle weary. It's like, oh no, off we go again. How do I get my head around this? Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some time, step back from it. And if you need to stick your head in your hands and have a boo, get the emotions out, but don't make any decisions when you're in that state.
Yeah.
Okay. That is absolutely the rules, the law, more so. Don't make decisions in that state. You wait till you're in a better frame of mind, because you will do, because the human condition can heal. Now, I like to use meditation. I like to read a book. I take my head somewhere else. I really love to see family and friends, which makes me remember why I do what I do in life and what's important to me. And that helps me move on. So get that interaction, get that input, do that sort of like massage in your head stuff. And then you'll be able to see things with more clarity and to make better decisions. Now, if your clarity is still not falling into place, you need to pull on your trusted member in your tribe and share, because sharing is caring, halves the load, all of those things you've heard your mum and your grandmum say for decades now. Do it, and don't be afraid to do it. You know, so many times people say, oh well, you're in a business, you're alone. Yes, you are, because we stand on our own 2 feet. You would not be a business leader unless you survived and thrived in being alone. However, there is nothing wrong with leaning on somebody else, because I bet you, just like those people I saw that were walking around with their heads down and feeling gloomy, all of them, they will be feeling very similar to you, or will have done on another occasion. And right now, I think there's so many of us that are feeling a little bit weighed down, just want to sort of like put your pajamas on really and have a lot of hot chocolate. It's okay, but talk to other people, share it.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things when I started in year 1, because corporate teaches you not to be a human being, because that you're put into little boxes, and people aren't interested in you in corporate, because you're expected to turn up, almost be an automatic person or a machine, and then go home, and nobody really wants to know what's going on with you. And I think that actually the small business world is the reverse, is that everybody's interested in who you are. It's the nature of your personality and the force of your personality that either alienates or engages people. And I think in my biggest problem, I think very early on and in year one, was understanding that there would be such a radical change emotionally and psychologically as well. And weirdly, one of the things I did, and it sounds really cheesy now, was I literally wrote it all down and put it in a book. So, and why not? Because for me, that was quite cathartic in actually getting everything out of my head. And like you said, it's all right. I was crying at the kitchen table 3 to 5 times a week in year one, because I was just trying to make sense of everything that was overwhelming, because you're trying to do everything very early on. And as you grow, you know, you kind of realize you can't do it all on your own, and you start to outsource, and you start to make, you know, different decisions, and you start to bring in, you know, different people into your business and share the load. But for some people, they find that particularly difficult, and that's very much a mindset thing.
Oh, well, you know, there is an excellent top tip to have in those scenarios that goes along with what I was saying before. And I really, really want to share that with you and your audience. And the analogy is rugby, which England won the Six Nations this weekend, so topical. In a rugby squad, you see 15 players start on the pitch, and you have a number of players, I think it's 5, sat on the bench, and some sat behind them. So you go, well, those ones on the pitch, they've been selected. No, the whole of them have been selected. So therefore, you know, when the ones sat on the bench, do you say to them, oh, how's it feel not to be selected to start? They don't think that way. They sit on the bench and they're looking out the pitch and they're watching what exactly is going on, so that when they're called up, when their moment comes, when their opportunity comes, they know how to make a positive difference. The key here is you focus on what you can do, not on what you can't do. You don't focus on the fact that you're sat on the bench. You focus on the fact that you're going to be out on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely key when you're going through a business storm of any description, whether it's self-inflicted or inflicted by the government or some other body, is focus on what you can do, not on what you can't do. Because if you start focusing and giving your energy to what you can't do, you know, losing battle, you're draining yourself, and you're actually increasing the amount of negativity in your mindset by tenfold, like every 5 minutes, which will stop you from seeing the opportunity, will stop you from taking things forward. And people will then not connect to you to help you realize that opportunity, to make it a reality. So for example, this weekend, we've had news, if it's okay to reference this, about the new lockdown that's coming in, Becky. And reading the details, like, oh, for us, it's business as usual. Now, you read everything the government says, what the institution, so for example, the Chambers are saying, they'll say non-essential retail closing, manufacturing and construction remaining open. Yeah?
Yeah.
Doesn't talk about the fact that actually hundreds of different businesses that provide services, say for example car repairs, things like that, are remaining open this time. It is not like the last lockdown, but the messaging going out in the media doesn't cover that. So we started immediately to put out a marketing campaign to counteract that and make sure that our existing customers knew it, because we did start to get communications that said, oh, well, the last visit will be on Tuesday because obviously November's are closed down. And so I was like, no, it's not true. So we needed to make sure that that went out big and loud. There will be a couple that drop off because people will be afraid. We understand that, but we need to retain as much business as possible. And because we made such a noise about it, we've had communication from media today and yesterday, and that's television as well as newspapers, and that's going to bring profile and help to make that communication even bigger. And it's literally because we retained the positive mindset, focusing on what we can do, not on what we can't do. And so people wanted to connect with us. So I hope that's a reasonable example and a good analogy for your audience to understand and be inspired by.
Yeah, I think that's a really good note to actually finish on. So in terms of obviously your company, which is Domestic Angels, based in the Bournemouth region and surrounding areas, do you just want to give yourself a little bit of a plug about how people can find you and follow you on social media as well? Because we've got very big digital audience who are interested in following and stalking people in a totally good way to find out what they do.
Stalk me. Okay, look, you can contact me directly on 07985 281120, or my email sam@domestic-angels.com. You will find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, probably other places that I've never even discovered. Please follow us, like us, and talk to me. If you want to talk about anything I've covered off today, I'm always happy to have a chat. I love a chat. But in particular, if you're thinking that you'd like to start your business by buying, or rather investing in a franchise, because you can start with a blank sheet of paper or you can start with a franchise. Different strokes for different people. I can talk about either of those things because I've started with a blank sheet of paper and I've franchised my business, so I know what it's all about. If you want to chat about those things, investigate it more, give me a shout. Always happy to have a chat. Or if there's another question that's directly related to domestic angels, franchising, or even the fintech industry, which we're part of, feel free. And if you couldn't remember any of the contact details, Becky knows where to find me.
Yeah, that's fine. So in terms of stalking people, yes, I'm #1 stalker, but also please join us at Startup Disruptors. We're an online community of over 2,500 people. We've got a group now on Facebook that's coming up to 2,000. Probably by the time that you've watched this, it will probably have multiplied again. So please do come online and join us. Our subscription membership, which is no commitment, it's $19.99 a month, for a raft of really great opportunities to connect and meet with people, resources. Please don't shop around on Google trying to find every single question answered for you, because we do it on your behalf. So please don't do that. But just check us out on Startup Disruptors, that's ors.co.uk, or follow us on social media. I also am available on LinkedIn, or just drop your name in the comments at the bottom, whichever social media platform Sam and I happen to be on whilst you're watching this. I'm sure it'll be epic to get your comments and get a bit of feedback. But thank you so much, Sam, for today. It's super insightful to talk to somebody else who's so upbeat and so positive, which is what we need during the pandemic at the moment. So yeah, we just need that positive mindset. Thank you so much. And for now, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, we're off. I'm off to have a cup of tea now, I think. You got anything on today, Sam? What else are you up to today?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm going to whiz up to the local shops to buy their Christmas stuff before they have to close for lockdown.
Yeah, well, that sounds a good plan to me. All right, my lovely, take care of yourself, and take care of everybody else, and stay safe. And obviously remember to keep your distance from people for the time being at any rate. All right then, bye-bye for now.